Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop of procrastination, constantly delaying your tasks while feeling guilty about it the whole time? You're not lazy, and you're definitely not alone. In fact, that exact struggle is at the heart of The Now Habit by Neil Fiore. This is a direct, straightforward audiobook summary designed to fit this complete book into a bite-sized format under 15 minutes. I've pulled the most important key takeaways from this book and packed them right here. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe to Audiobook Focus for more simplified book summaries every single day. Let's not waste time. Let's dive right in. Neil Fiore starts off by explaining that procrastination isn't caused by laziness or poor time management. Instead, it's often a response to stress, fear, and pressure. Many people procrastinate not because they don't want to work, but because they fear failure, criticism, or not doing something perfectly. This turns tasks into threats rather than opportunities. Fiore argues that traditional approaches to overcoming procrastination often backfire. For example, telling yourself to just work harder or just do it doesn't address the root issue. It only adds more pressure. One of the core ideas in the Now Habit is something called the Unschedule. It flips the traditional calendar method on its head. Instead of planning your work time first, you schedule all your leisure, meals, exercise, and social activities before anything else. The point is to create a life you actually want to live, not one filled with endless pressure to be productive every second of the day. When your calendar is already full of enjoyable things, your work slots feel more focused and guilt-free because you're no longer resenting your time. Over time, you'll even start looking forward to those work sessions as opportunities to make progress and feel accomplished. Fiore also emphasizes how important it is to shift your self-talk. Many procrastinators fall into the trap of saying things like, "I have to work on this," or "I should be doing more." That kind of language creates resistance. It makes tasks feel like obligations or punishments. Instead, he recommends using phrases like, "I choose to," "I will start on," or "I get to work on." These subtle changes help you take ownership of your time and decisions. When you change how you talk to yourself, you change how you approach your day, turning work into a choice instead of a burden. There's a big focus in the book on perfectionism. Procrastinators often have high standards and fear making mistakes, which causes them to put things off indefinitely. Fiore urges us to embrace the idea of producing something, even if it's imperfect, because progress leads to momentum. He introduces the concept of the flow state, where you're fully immersed in a task without anxiety, and argues that entering this state comes from easing up on self-judgment and getting started in small ways. You don't need to write the perfect sentence or paint the perfect picture. You just need to begin. Once you're in motion, clarity and motivation follow. Another unique idea from the book is the concept of guilt-free play. Most people feel like they have to earn their fun time after they've completed all their responsibilities. But Fiore flips this idea around. He says that by allowing yourself to enjoy leisure activities without guilt, you reduce the mental burden that causes procrastination in the first place. This creates a cycle where you're more energized and willing to work when it's time to focus. When you enjoy your free time without guilt, your work no longer feels like a punishment, and your whole lifestyle becomes more balanced. The book also dives into how procrastination is linked to identity. If you think of yourself as a procrastinator, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Fiore encourages people to let go of that identity and adopt the mindset of a producer, someone who acts, creates, and makes progress. This isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming someone who takes action in spite of fear, doubt, or discomfort. Start telling yourself, "I'm someone who takes steps," and you'll find it easier to move through resistance. Fiore highlights the importance of breaking the cycle of avoidance. He describes how procrastinators often enter a loop. They delay a task, feel guilty, avoid it more, and eventually rush to complete it in a panic. The stress builds up and the brain begins to associate work with anxiety. The way out, he says, is to focus on starting, not finishing. Even committing to just 15 to 30 minutes can break the cycle. Once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going. This also builds confidence, showing your brain that starting isn't so scary after all. The Unschedule isn't just a calendar, it's also a psychological tool. It sets clear boundaries for work and play, which helps you avoid burnout and resentment. By tracking when you actually work, rather than when you plan to, you begin to notice your productive rhythms. Fiore suggests celebrating small wins, no matter how small they seem, because they help retrain your brain to associate work with success and satisfaction instead of dread. These small wins stack up, reinforcing the habit of showing up. Another strategy in the book involves visualization. Fiore encourages readers to mentally rehearse themselves starting and completing tasks without stress. This kind of positive imagery helps rewire your mindset. You start to see yourself as capable and calm rather than frantic and behind. Visualizing a task being completed trains your subconscious to support your goals instead of sabotaging them with fear. Athletes do this to improve performance, and you can too, to improve productivity. Fiore also touches on the value of taking breaks. Too often we believe that working non-stop is a sign of discipline. But the reality is that humans aren't machines. We need rest to recover, process, and re-energize. Scheduling breaks actually improves your focus and helps you return to work with clarity. Breaks also reduce the likelihood of burnout, which is a major cause of long-term procrastination. Building breaks into your day makes work feel less like a marathon and more like a sustainable routine. The book includes powerful examples of how people have changed their lives by using these techniques. For example, Fiore tells the story of a graduate student paralyzed by fear of failure who used the Unschedule to regain control. By giving herself permission to relax and limiting work to short, focused sessions, she finished her dissertation without the stress spiral. There's also the example of an overworked executive who restructured his days using the Unschedule, leading to more energy and better results. Stories like these help bring the strategies to life and show that change is possible for anyone. Let's take a moment now to go through the 5 most important takeaways from The Now Habit and how you can start using them in your life today. First, start with the Unschedule. Open your calendar and begin by blocking off time for fun, exercise, meals, rest, and anything else that brings you joy. Only then add short 30-minute work sessions. This structure makes you feel like work fits into your life, not the other way around. Your mind will respond more positively when it knows there's space for enjoyment and recovery. Second, change your self-talk. Replace phrases like, I have to, or I should with I choose to, or I will start. This simple switch helps you take ownership of your actions and reduces the resistance you feel toward your tasks. You begin to associate work with agency and control. Third, aim for progress, not perfection. Don't wait until you feel ready or everything is perfect. Start with a small piece of the task. Whether it's writing 1 paragraph or making 1 phone call, the key is to start. Once you do, momentum will build. Done is better than perfect. Fourth, allow yourself guilt-free play. Don't withhold rest or leisure as a reward. Instead, enjoy your time off fully. This reduces burnout, refreshes your energy, and actually makes you more productive when you return to work. Make play a part of your productivity plan. Fifth, visualize success. Each day, take a moment to imagine yourself calmly starting, working, and completing your tasks. See yourself as someone who takes action and finishes what you begin. This will build confidence and reinforce your identity as a capable, productive person. In conclusion, the Now Habit is not just about managing time. It's about reshaping your mindset and lifestyle so that work becomes something you approach with confidence, not avoidance. Neil Fiore gives us tools that are simple but powerful, helping us shift from procrastination to action. By focusing on the present moment, learning to start without fear, and building lives that honor both productivity and play, we can begin to break free from the guilt and stress that hold us back. We become people who act, who create, and who live with balance. If you've made it to the end of this audiobook summary, that means you're serious about taking action. The full audiobook is linked in the description if you want to dive even deeper into Neil Fiore's lessons. Like and subscribe to Audiobook Focus for more summaries like this one. And if you're still here, comment "Start Now" in the comments so I know you made it to the end. I'll do my best to like and reply to every single one. Until next time.